opportunities are usually missed by most people because they're usually dressed in overalls and look like work. If you know what that means, I mean, regardless of what something looks like, regardless of what that dream looks like, it might look like a very, very big task ahead of you, but regardless of the look, you can't be daring enough to actually surmount it, right? And it is on that note that I welcome you to today's edition of Accelerate Lagos here on Lagos Traffic Radio 96.1 FM. Quickly, let's connect with this traffic manager, Awotola, I hope. Hello, Awotola. Good morning. Give me a minute, please. What's up with the impediment?
Update.
Yes, please.
Just to be in your record, the reported impediment at Akinyode Inward Grammar School
yes, please.
Has been properly towed and parked at Grammar School bus stop. Properly parked now.
Good to know.
So vehicles can move in a normal direction now.
All right then.
So you know we still have backlog, so we're still working on the backlog. So vehicles should take it easy, should slow down and try and obey traffic manager.
Okay.
So that's the update for now. Thank you.
Thank you. All right, we have been tracking that impediment since the early hours of today. Thank you so much, Awotola, for that update. And for those of you considering about Gunusi this morning, you have better movement at this time. All you need to do is cooperate with the traffic managers. All right, let's get down to business. The program is Accelerate Lagos here on Lagos Traffic Radio 96.1 FM. Today on the program, we shall be discussing impact of startups. Yes, impact of startups on entrepreneurial development, especially in Lagos. My guest is Damilola Obijairo. He is the CEO, Ace Gear Hub and Venture Studio. Good morning, Damilola.
Good morning.
How are you today?
I'm well.
All right, it's good to have you again in the studio with us. And this time we'll be talking about the impact of startups on entrepreneurial development in Lagos. First, let's start with what startup means.
Literally, startup will mean a business that's just starting, but that's not the definition when we put it in the entrepreneurial context.
Okay.
A startup is then a business that is leveraging a lot of innovation and technology and can scale really fast as compared to traditional businesses that have a established business model. Startups always have what we call an innovative business model and leverages a lot of technology to ensure that it has exponential growth, is able to reach a lot of people. That's what a startup is.
All right, let's now talk about Ace Gear Hub and, as a venture, what is this about?
Okay, Ace Gear Hub is a venture studio. It's a venture in itself, but it's a venture studio in the sense that we support entrepreneurs to grow their business. So at the hub, one of the things that we then do is to adopt businesses into the studio, and then we enable them, we provide them what we call enterprise support services to help them grow. And if I may, I will break that down a little further. Hub services starts from things as simple as co-working, which we have available at Magodo in Ikeja, Lagos, and also at Yaba. By the way, this co-working spaces that we have also redeem Lagos Innovate voucher, which I think we will talk about more in this conversation. We also then provide what we call talent placement on the back of our talent development programs, where we then develop young people who are meeting critical talent gap needs that MSMEs and startups have, and then we place them, and that's as a service. Thirdly, we provide what we call growth advisory. For growth advisory, what we do is to bring provide access to experts who have experience in different subject matters that MSMEs regularly will require. One of the very simple things that a lot of MSMEs then miss is the fact that there is the access to information that differentiates businesses from businesses.
Okay.
So one of the best ways to get information is to go through people who have been there, done it, and can guide you. So that's where Growth Advisory comes in. And finally, one of our major services is access to digital tools. At 8G, for instance, we are partnered with MTN Nigeria, Zoo Africa, and a number of B2B tech startups that provide access to digital tools that MSMEs need to embrace digital transformation. And we provide and facilitate how they can then get on board those platforms to grow their business. On the top of that, we then have a collaborative community that anyone who comes in is able to also see other entrepreneurs that are building with them, regular events, regular workshops. And one of our next workshop, for instance, is
Yes.
an export readiness workshop, 3-day in-person workshop where people can actually even understand how to take their businesses globally, and that is even happening very soon, March 11th to 13th, at the Hub.
All right, I'll be talking about that shortly. Lagos, the program is Accelerate Lagos here on Lagos Traffic Radio 96.1 FM. Let's quickly intimate you about what the roads are saying. First, Awotola called in a few minutes ago to say that the earlier reported impediment on about Gunusi is now off the road or has been properly managed. Okay, so you have better flow within that area. Several other parts of Lagos, we're tracking on the screen here. Bagada Urushuki looks very free. For those of you coming in from Ifako Gudu end, in and out of Yanawuru, linking the third mainland bridge is also very free. Please keep it within the speed limit. Ikuru Road is a lot better in and out of Ojota through the interchange down to the Yalaru. Of course, Bola Tinubu Way, that's shortly after Governor's Road. Inward Obafemi Awolowo is also looking very good, a site alternation. I will take a short break and return with to return and of course continue with the conversation this morning.
Lagos stands as the largest city in Nigeria in terms of population. An issue in dire need for a structured plan is the need for increased youth employment. Through programs designed to drive innovation within the Lagos ecosystem, in line with this vision, the Lagos State Employment Trust Fund brings to you Accelerate Lagos, a 45-minute program aimed at creating awareness on entrepreneurship, access to finance, trainings, and business advocacy from the Lagos State government. So join us every Wednesday at 10:15 a.m. on Lagos Traffic Radio 96.1 FM as we bring the best of resources and opportunities that will help you actualize your dream of becoming an entrepreneur in Lagos. Wednesdays, 10:15 a.m. Accelerate Lagos, creating opportunities for wealth creation in Lagos State.
Right, we're back on the block talking impact of startups on entrepreneurial development in Lagos. My guest is still Damilola Obidairo, the CEO Ace Gear Hub and Venture Studio. Now, let's talk about startups in Lagos and, of course, the ecosystem, talking about the business landscape in Lagos. How does this contribute to the economic growth of Lagos?
The startup ecosystem is a very beautiful one because not only does it create jobs for people, but it also has a boomerang effect on other MSMEs that are involved with it, and I'm going to explain that shortly.
Okay.
First and foremost, it's good to establish that Lagos is it's one of the tech hubs in Africa, one of the recognized tech hubs in Africa,
Okay.
compared with states in South Africa, Egypt, Kenya. When you're talking about the top 5 places where you can do a lot of technology businesses, Lagos is top. Nigeria is known for the huge market. It's also known for the youthful population and the vibrant entrepreneurial population. That makes Lagos an interesting place in the first place. What startups have done for Lagos is to also attract a lot of foreign investment. A lot of foreign investment coming into Nigeria, I boast, come through a lot of startups that are domiciled in Lagos, if I make that boast. So the startup ecosystem is very, very, very important there. So we've talked about foreign direct investment. We've talked about job creation, because startups then employ people in their numbers, and in order to scale. We're talking about startups that grow quickly, fast. I don't want to use any examples here on air. And then the most interesting thing to me is the fact that because startups exist and are building products that other businesses can use, it's also supporting the growth of other MSMEs. So that's one of the things that we're working on at 8Girl Hub. We call it digital transformation of non-tech MSMEs. So not just big corporates providing these digital tools, but startups are themselves providing tools. So there are two types of, generally speaking, two types of startups. Startups that provide products that every human, every man can use. That's B2C, that's business to commercial. Then we have B2B startups that are actually providing not what individuals can use, but what other businesses can use. Now, those other businesses then are a major beneficiary of a thriving startup ecosystem, because now they can have contextualized technology that helps them to build, that helps them to grow their business, run their operations faster, do their digital marketing better, leveraging on existing infrastructure and platforms. The effect of a vibrant ecosystem, a vibrant startup ecosystem, is wide. I think that's what it put it.
No doubt. Lagos is one of the, major focus when it comes to tech in Africa, right? But then let's talk about some of the challenges startups like this encounter, because there are usually two sides to a coin.
Yes, there is actually two sides to this coin. First and foremost is infrastructure. Talking about as beautiful as the internet access is and internet penetration is in Lagos, there are still quite a number of gaps that number of startups then face in and struggle with. There's also infrastructure in terms of...
When you say gap, what do you mean?
Meaning things that could be filled that will make them operate better, right? Not necessarily that it's completely absent.
Okay.
But what are the things? So when you ask gap, I'm thinking things that could be improved on that will make startups even thrive further, better. Okay, so first, infrastructure. So I'm saying there is good, at least across the country, Lagos will still boast of the best.
Internet service.
Yes, but even at that, we're not there yet. That's number one. The level of broadband that is required to compete globally, we're not there yet. That's number one. Number two, I'll still under infrastructure. I'll take things around, even though a number of startups are able to do a lot of work without humongous office spaces, but physical leases in Lagos is a very big deal. Real estate is a very big deal. Interestingly, this still ties back to one of the things that Lagos Innovate is doing to help alleviate that, and I'll talk about that. I'll still talk about that again. And then the last part is, I'm thinking about to put this that won't look like I'm speaking contrary to what I'm about to say again. But again, it's access to talent, as interesting as it may sound. We say that we have a very youthful population, we have a large population.
It's heterogeneous.
Yes, but at the same time, we still have talent shortage. And so what is then happening is that there is a skills mismatch between what most young people understand or what they get from traditional schools and what the space, what industry generally demands.
Requires.
So there's always that, we have this large number of people claiming that they're ready to work and everything. And then the industry is saying, okay, I need someone who can do this, raise your hand, and then you can't find. So that is a challenge in itself.
So let's now look at some of the ways to tackle these challenges. You are here on the platform of the LSCTF, and of course, you can actually boast of, helping some of these startups. But then let's look at how LSCTF comes in here.
Yes, initiatives like LSCTF, to be specific, Lagos Innovate, that is targeted at the startup landscape, has played a very vital role. So far, so good, right? Let's start from the infrastructure part.
Okay.
So there is the initiative called the Lagos State LSCTF voucher. Workspace voucher, that's the word. Workspace voucher that is available for startups as long as you're a resident in Lagos, your business is domiciled in Lagos. You're able to access this voucher. And the interesting thing about this that I must make public is the fact that the application system is seamless and fair as compared to what people would typically think of any government-related organization. Okay. So anybody, as long as you have a tech-enabled or a startup business, you can apply. And once you apply, there are partner hubs scattered all over Lagos where you can then go redeem those vouchers. So there's no cash involved here, so there's no room for any exchange of cash or anything, but there's significant exchange of value. In the sense that once you win the voucher, you can walk up to any of the accredited hubs, any of the partner hubs, and then redeem for a subsidy, or if your request is below the value of the voucher, then you're fully covered. So that alleviates that initial, for anybody who is working on an idea, is fresh, you're not yet at revenue, and you're already struggling with how do I get access to office space, that covers for you.
All right, then. You said something earlier talking about mismatch of how do I put this now? Mismatch of skill set.
Yes, please.
Now, you have this chunk of graduates out there, graduate of this, graduate of that, and then you ask them, what can you do? But then they cannot provide the service that you're looking forward to. How can we help this crop of individuals? Because we don't want to leave them on the street of Lagos.
Fantastic question. Interestingly, in the last 2-3 years, I am aware that Lagos Innovates as a project has embarked on upskilling projects where hundreds, if not thousands, of young people have been taken off this path and have been upskilled. And the upskilling is a means to an end, meaning that the end then is then placement. Because there is, again, let me take it back. Whatever you learn from school, most of the time when you get into the startup landscape, does not matter. Whether it's zoology, whether it's mass comm, whether it's engineering, math, sometimes once you come out, it does not matter. It's basic.
Not in all cases.
I know you would argue that because I mentioned mass comm.
Yes. Yes. Not in all cases, because there are some basic knowledge that you require.
Of course.
Yes.
Of course, Dr. Baruwa. I know you understand what I'm trying to say, but let me put it in better words so it's not misconstrued.
Yeah.
For a typical startup who is hiring young people, you wouldn't think first and foremost about what did you study in school, honestly. In fact, I understand, I think in 2023, Google stopped looking at first degrees to hire. Okay, so that's what I mean. Now, I'm not saying that if you're in school, drop out because it doesn't matter. Please do not misconstrue what I said, because your first degree, second degree gives you that edge, gives you the basics that you then need. But you need to come out there, find out what employers are looking for, and then upskill to meet up for it. That's what we're saying. All right, so there are a number of interventions by Lagos Innovates itself, and also by the employability project of LSETF as a whole, in partnership with quite a number of vocational training centers that are looking at different skill sets, from digital technology to fashion to even vocational skills, core, hard vocational skills that you can layer on whatever background education that you have, and that gives you more opportunities. And most of the objective of this project is tied to placement, being able to then match you as a young person with employers who are then able to give you the second layer of training, which is on the job, because there is sitting in class to then fill in the gaps of what it is that you're now aware of, and there's also getting on that job and then learning the ropes right there on the job. And that is the beauty of what has been made available by LSETF.
All right, then, in partnership with LSETF, tell me what you do at 8th Gear Hub and Venture Studio, what you do with LSETF.
Okay, two things that we're doing with LSETF at the same time. One is the training part, the digital skills training component, which it's a project that is ongoing. It's taking a little pause, but ongoing, where we take in young people, train, place them with partner MSMEs, and then follow up with them to ensure that they grow in their careers. That's number one. It's under what we call the employability project. And then the second thing that we do and support is also to redeem Lagos Innovates workspace vouchers across our hubs in Magodo and in Yaba. So anyone who applies online and wins this vouchers is able to walk up to our hubs and utilize our services, and then is subsidized by the voucher.
All right, then. Let's now look at some of the trainings you offer. When you train people, you train them on what? It's a
wide spectrum.
I mean, someone might be listening and be interested.
It's a wide range of digital skills, and very intentionally, we do not have a standard somewhere and that this is all we train.
Okay.
We train based on needs of our MSMEs. Remember that I mentioned that the training is a means, not the end in itself. So we really do not want to be seen as just trainers, but really employability support providers. Right, so training across subjects, special subject areas like digital marketing, front-end web development, back-end web development, data analytics, data science, a number of this going off my head right now, product design, which some call UI UX. In recent times, we added project management, interestingly. And one of our own very special, unique course that we curated, we call it Venture Builders Immersion Program.
What does that mean?
That means that we are then training people to think of how to turn around challenges in their environment to potential solutions and building businesses around it. It's what in school people call entrepreneurship class, but for us it's a little different. It's not just teaching you entrepreneurship just to understand entrepreneurship, but practically hands-on, what are the things that as a business person you should know to start a business?
What actually inspired that?
Because we work with a lot of entrepreneurs, I found that when entrepreneurs come into incubation programs, which are the typical things most hubs run, we find out that most of them come with, how do I explain this without being misconstrued again? That they come with some level of, I'm a business owner, I know these things. And then you find it difficult to reach them. It's rare to find a business owner that is humble and is not overwhelmed by the beauty of how great their idea is to learn. Because I've run a number of incubation programs and I see that roadblock. And we decided that, okay, rather than you coming with your idea into an incubation program, come as a student. Let's teach you how to take your financial statements provided by your accountants and you can make sense out of it. If your lawyer provides you an agreement, can you make sense out of it? Can you interpret it? Can you look at data? Can you interpret it? Can you draft a business plan by yourself? Can you pitch? Can you make presentations and stand by it and defend? Can you speak properly? Can you lead a team? They look simple and soft, but they are critical things that we have noticed from experience that most entrepreneurs need to succeed. So it's not just a blanket entrepreneurship program. Let's teach you the definition of entrepreneurship.
How often is your training annually?
4 times a year, typically.
Okay.
And sometimes because...
That's quarterly?
Yes, quarterly. So most of our courses are 10 weeks. Some, like back-end, can go as far as 16 weeks. But on the average, some can go as low as 8. But on the average, most of our courses are 10. So they all fit into a quarter.
All right, amazing. Lagos, you're tuned to Accelerate Lagos here on Lagos Traffic Radio 96.1 FM. And if you're wondering what we have been talking about, we have been speaking on impact of startups on entrepreneurial development in Lagos. My guest has been Damilola Obidairo. And yes, let me remind you that movement is still looking very good in most part. Of course, intermittent, you would have it slow around Ojota heading inward to Yalaru, and that's basically due to the rehabilitation work ongoing. From what I can see here, I see a bit of build-up around the new pedestrian bridge at Ojota inward the BRT bus stop heading towards Yalaru. Obafemi Awolowo Way is also intermittently slow, connecting Coca-Cola intersection, inward radio intersection. All of the parts looking quite okay. Just observe, obey the traffic signs. All right, Damilola, moving on now. Let's do a bit of prediction for the future of entrepreneurship in Lagos, and how can startups prepare for the evolving landscape and the future of work?
I think that the future is looking good for startups in Lagos, especially given the support that agencies like LSATF and other development agencies that are also working in partnership with them are providing. I think that there's been a lot of experience, a lot of failures that has happened, and everyone in the ecosystem is learning from and adapting. I think that also the fact that technology is a moving train, and everyone is finally agreeing that you have to jump on the train or you will completely be crushed by it. Even if it's not just that you will miss it, you get crushed. All right, so we know that a lot of MSMEs in the days ahead are going to be, everyone is going to be thinking about how to, implement technology into their businesses. Now I'm looking at the studio today and I'm seeing a lot of improvement in technology, for instance. And that's an example. So it's the fact that people are realizing that and that gap exists means that there's a whole lot of opportunity for growth. And that is income, that is revenue, and that's even revenue for government. All together, it's win-win. It's not a zero-sum game.
All right, then. You talked about your training earlier. Do you have any particular training ongoing right now? The year is still practically new for some people. I wouldn't know. But what is it like for you at 8th Gear?
Yes, we have quite a number of trainings that are open right now.
Okay.
I would love to put it out there that some of these trainings sometimes are sponsored, in partnership with LSATF. But right now, anyone who's interested in any course can make that an inquiry as to what is open by just reaching out to us and letting us know what it is that they want, so that I don't reel out all our courses one by one and which is available or not online here. So that's number one. Number two is we also have for business owners who are considering export, who are looking at how can I take what I'm doing. And when we say export, it's not only to US, Canada, and UK, but even if it's to Ghana, to Togo, and to other African states, and are interested in looking at that, we have a very short 3-day workshop that is then happening in March 11th to 13th, with follow-up virtual sessions that allow people practicalize what they've learned from the 3-day work and follow up and a close follow up on them. That's happening this March. And so anyone who is interested should reach out to us. Our best bet and the most simple way right now, it's a WhatsApp. Just a WhatsApp away. If you don't mind, I could just reel out the...
Oh, definitely, we'll get to that.
All right.
So what are they going to be learning at this training?
Let's call it export readiness.
Training.
Yes.
Export readiness. Okay.
Yes. Things about how to ensure that your packaging is okay. What quality assurance is. Taking lessons from what other mistakes others have made in the past to ensure that you don't make the same mistake. How to facilitate. We also help facilitate your export license and the regulatory requirements that you need to have. Also, access to market linkages is also a part of it. By the way, we're not doing this on our own. I should add that we're doing this in partnership with Abuja Chamber of Commerce and Industry in association with the Best Center. They're the ones providing a lot of the heavy lifting relationships that we're bringing to this particular training. So it's a big deal.
I was going to ask that why Abuja Chambers of Commerce? Why not Lagos?
We are in conversation with Lagos Chamber of Commerce, but it just happens that that's where some of the relationships have.
All right, then, as we wrap this up, what advice would you give to aspiring entrepreneurs looking to launch startups in Lagos, and for those yet to take advantage of the Lagos Innovator Workspace voucher?
Okay, my number one advice for anyone who wants to start, or even if you've started and you're thinking about how you're making progress, is just ensure that you are providing something that people need. Ensure that what you are providing, what your product is solving a real problem. That's once we get past that, most of the issues we have with our startups will be healed. In a matter of time, we can learn any other thing.
All right, then. Finally,
and for those who are still thinking about the application process for the Lagos Innovate voucher, don't sleep on a bicycle. Jump on this very quickly. We also then do something special for our own community. If you reach out to us, if you're having challenges knowing where and how, if you also reach out to us, we actually do some hand-holding as regards how to ensure and follow up with you to ensure that you complete the application. All
right, then. So before I finally let you go, how can listeners get to learn more about 8th Gear? Of course, how can they reach out to you? How can they find out about all you do, especially as regards your training and, of course, the export training that is upcoming in March?
To find out everything about what we do, in summary, our website, www.8gearpartners.com. 8th Gear Partners. The 8 is number 8 with
number
the
TH. 8, TH.
Yes, and then the gear, like the gear of your car, and partners, like partners.com. Right? But if you want to have direct conversations with us very quickly, WhatsApp is our best bet. 0806 20 30 214. 006 20 30 214. And then we 9 a.m. to 5 p.m. every work day. We are waiting behind that phone to respond to you.
For the tech savvy guys, I mean, you have social media handles you want to share with
Yes, we do have social media handles at 8 Gear Hub across LinkedIn, Facebook, Twitter, Instagram. 8 Gear Hub.
Across the social media platforms. All right, that's how much we can take on the show this morning. I have been speaking with Damilola Obidairo, the CEO, 8th Gear Hub and Venture Studio. Today we have discussed impact of startups on entrepreneurial development in Lagos. This is where we wrap things up. Massive thanks to Debbie Bolodioku. Special thanks to Victor Terry. Our executive producer is Taiwo Baruwa. Don't forget, this program has been brought to you by the Lagos State Employment Trust Fund. My name is Taiwo Baruwa. Certainly the program returns next Wednesday at 10:15. Enjoy the rest of your day.